Listen, we're about to find out what's in the bottom of the ocean. I don't know why I'm never going. I'm already scared, okay? But let's get it.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K Holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.
What is good, HollaSquad? We are the latest squad on the YouTube platform. Listen, today we are back with another reaction. And we got a BMA's video about to see what's in the deep crevices of the ocean, okay? And you know what? They're in the ocean for a reason down there. They want to be left alone. That's why I'm never going to go bother them, all right? Leave me on land. We've been watching Tier Zoo, all right? We got to watch one of those today, too. But we've been watching Tier Zoo. I'm going to just let animals be them. I'm going to stay in my habitat in this house, all right? But before we hop into this, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and let's get it.
It's said that 95% of all the waters in the world remain unexplored. The deepest parts of the ocean especially are a challenge to unravel, as they pose a lot of biological and engineering challenges just to get there. As such, almost anything that comes out of its dark depths always look bizarre, almost alien to us. Let's shed some light on some of the most bizarre deep-sea creatures you won't believe exist. Number 10. Weird octopuses. Octopuses are already strange creatures. They have 8 separate dexterous tentacles, a very squishy flexible body, 9 brains, 3 hearts, and
9? What could you be doing with 9 brains, bruh? Tell me!
and blue blood. They even have an intelligence level that rivals that of dolphins and orangutans. However, our regular tentacled friends actually look rather tame compared to their deep-sea versions. Here's some of the strangest you'll find in the deep sea. Let's start off with the flapjack octopus, which certainly looks like something out of a Disney movie. They live between 200 to 1,500 meters below the ocean and are mostly native to the eastern Pacific, with a few species scattered throughout the mid-Atlantic Ocean. With its tiny size, gelatinous body, almost adorable build, and eyes that just seem to sparkle with curiosity, it completely differentiates itself from the more grotesque and extended build of an ordinary octopus. Now take a flapjack octopus, make it more translucent, and give it a rounder body, and this is what you have. The informally named...
Bro, this octopus look like Zordon from the Power Rangers.
Casper octopus gets the inspiration obviously from its ghastly look. First found thousands of meters deep in the Hawaiian seas, they have been observed to lay their eggs on the stalk of dead sea sponges and then guard them to the death. Literally,
that's crazy.
They will wrap themselves around the sponge without leaving, without ever feeding, until they finally die. Now that's dedication. For another Disney reference, look no further than the Dumbo octopus. As you may have already guessed, its nickname is derived from its ears, which are actually fins with a peculiar shape. Just like the flapjack and the Casper ghost octopus, it also has a seemingly smaller build than the average octopus, which allows it to thrive at depths as deep as 7,000 meters below sea level. Number 9. Anglerfish. Of course, we can't talk about the deep sea without...
That's not something that I want to shake hands with, so I'm going to just leave it where it's at.
mentioning just about every super wide-jawed oddity that lurks down there. On the top of the list is none other than the anglerfish, which gets its name from its unusual hunting method, which involves luring prey close to its mouth using that weird luminescent appendage coming out of its head. Apart from that, it has a very unusual mating process. Similar to humans, male anglerfish spend their lives finding a single female through pheromones she releases. Once found, he bites onto the female and fuses onto her. Like a parasite, he gets his nutrients from her need to survive and is practically an on-demand testicle, ready to reproduce when the female needs.
Yo. That's wild, okay? That's wild.
Sperm. Another frightening fish is the viperfish, measuring around 60 centimeters or 23 inches in length. It's essentially an anglerfish made to look even more alien. Its fanged jaws can open wide to almost 90 degrees, and its similarly configured bioluminescent lure can invite shallower fish down to their instant doom. Probably even more hideous are deep-sea dragonfishes, a similar class of wide-jawed monsters which make viperfish look like they're incomplete cousins. What's particularly special about this fish is they don't just produce blue light like most other deep-sea creatures, they also produce red light. To emit this light, the species will use organs called photophores, typically located in front of their eyes. While the red light cannot act as a lure, since most of the prey cannot see that shade, it does allow the dragonfish to stealthily illuminate their prey. Number 8.
That's tough. All right, that's tough. That is 8.
Pelican Flounder. The main challenge for any deep-sea organism is not actually the absence of light, but the crushing pressure levels. For the pelican flounder, the solution is simple. It makes itself as flat and flexible as biologically possible. The result becomes an amalgam of the nightmarish anglerfish and the quirkiness of your average flounder. This fish is actually native to the western Pacific and Indian Oceans. Nothing much is currently known about the pelican flounder since they are rarely observed in their natural habitat. But if we were to point out one specific trait that makes it really special as a deep-sea dweller,
bro.
It would be its baby form. Pelican flounder larvae are some of the most alien-looking entities of the deep, akin to the otherworldly appearance of
I ain't gonna lie, people be wondering like what aliens are gonna come from like space. Imagine if there's like the most like how we're like the most intelligent like land creatures, the most intelligent like sea creatures. They got that. Listen, I don't want to go down there, bro. Stop searching.
Home jellies, which are small invertebrates found
We just
worldwide.
need to leave them and
like
let
a
be
mosquito,
whatever is
pelican
down
flounder
there.
larvae are enveloped within their transparent flesh, only growing into their normal opaque brown color as they grow. Number 7, giant isopods and amphipods. Sure, ancient trilobites and modern horseshoe crabs may look cute and all, but out on the deep sea floor, there are creepy crawlies that could take you millions of years back into the age of the giant insects. Just take a close look at this giant
Oh no, Tier Zoo, we need that video. Where's that Tier Zoo? We need that. Giant insects beating up. Ain't no way. There's no way. There's no way. Somebody get me some video evidence. I'm gonna watch that video. I promise.
isopod. Closer, even closer. Its extraterrestrial form and size will constantly make you wonder if it's actually some sort of mutated lice. Don't worry, it's not going to jump on your face.
That looks
They're actually
nasty.
more of a scavenger than an active hunter. They also typically thrive in colder, deeper environments, which is why they're technically absent in most temperate deep regions of the world. There are other forms of gigantic deep-sea crustaceans that have an unusual alien-like appearance, like the supersized amphipods. It's almost as if they're the grotesque and mutated versions of their tamer counterparts on the shallow seas and land. Thankfully, being that almost all of them are not as active as the wide-jawed hellspawns I mentioned earlier, they're far less menacing to other species than they seem.
That looks
Even less intimidating
disgusting.
since we'll never even get to meet one on land. Probably. Number 6, spider crabs. Speaking of crustaceans, crabs are also subjected to the same freakish transformations when the deep sea is taken into account. This time
That's
though,
crazy.
it's not just their size, but rather a whole different dimension of weird. Japanese spider crabs, for example, don't just hold the record for the longest legged crab.
I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Heat me up some butter. Listen, okay? You know how much, pause, you know how much meat is it? All right, there's no way to get around that, bro. But listen, give me some garlic butter, throw a little bit of pinch of lemon pepper. Come on. Delicious.
But they are also literally the longest-legged arthropods ever. They can grow up to around 5 meters long. Although
That's
their body
tough.
is relatively small, its main body can still grow a bit larger than the average human head. The Hoff crab is another ghastly version of its normal counterpart. The deep, dark depths made it almost featureless in terms of color, giving itself a pure white shell of nothingness. The Hoff crab got its name due to its dense covering of seta, which are hair-like structures that resemble the hairy chest of actor David Hasselhoff. It thrives near hydrothermal vents,
I never want to see these things in my life. Never. No.
where its seta feeds upon sulfur-oxidizing bacteria nearby. Even stranger are the various species of strange spiny crabs, which have yet to be properly classified or even identified due to their recent discovery. The only thing evident, though, is that the deep sea environment where they belong must have been really harsh for them to go several steps above the crustacean defense tree.
What?
Number 5, colossal squid. If there's one
I seen this scene in SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Alex Bell. But listen, if there's these things, colossal squids eating whales, we need to stop going down there and playing with these things, okay? They got rid of dinosaurs for us, and y'all want to go play with them.
One persisting legend that turns out to be true of the deep, it's that the deep sea is home to fantastic creatures that exhibit monstrous proportions. It's a well-known scientific phenomenon known as deep sea gigantism. And one of the most gigantic creatures we know of that lives down there is the colossal squid. The colossal squid is a gigantic...
That is too big. That is way too big. Y'all go keep playing, all right? Keep playing with them.
Cephalopod that is easily more than twice the size of a regular human. Occasionally caught in the southern seas of the Antarctic, we've never seen one in its natural habitat, as we've only known about them because they're sometimes caught by fishing rigs. It may not be capable of capsizing ships, but it's still the largest known invertebrate in the world. Giant squids are another huge squid species. Compared to the colossal squid, they're only about a third of their size, but they're still larger than any regular person, and they have a huge intimidating beak you would not want to be eaten by.
Bruh. I'm never getting in water. Look. I might not even get in the pool after this, all right? I'm going to let these creatures have their water, okay? Stop playing with them.
Though it can be just as elusive as its bigger counterpart, the giant squid has actually been spotted in its natural habitat, even twice, although only very briefly. Speaking of deep sea squids, the vampire squid also deserves a special mention with a weird transitional body that is technically classified as a split between a squid and an octopus. It's not as gigantic, but it's still equally monstrous with its cape-like webbing and spine-studded tentacles. Don't worry, it does not suck the blood of its neighboring dead.
Hey, look. If somebody else wants to go down there and get it and bring it to us, they can do that. I'm not going down there. I'm not going nowhere near there, okay? I'm going to still bust down, you know what I'm saying, the seafood broil, though, if it's available.
Medicines, but is instead a particulate scavenger, preferring to dine on what's already prepared as a meal. Number 4, harp sponge. As fearsome as they already are, sea anemones and other similar creatures have at least taught us that the oceans are also home to a number of immobile predatory feeders. Therefore, it's only natural that the deep dark sea will introduce us to something similar, only more horrifying. The harp sponge, for instance, looks just like its name suggests, an unassuming harmless piece of underwater living sponge shaped like a harp. Whereas most inert deep sea creatures feed off of filtered marine matter, this one actively seeks a more scrumptious feast by snagging its victim with its Velcro-like hooks. With its meal unable to escape, it then completely envelops its prey and digests it. Part of its menu typically includes various small fishes, usually those that are not strong enough to escape its microscopic hook.
Fam, they said Velcro. Velcro.
However,
y'all gonna send a boat down there. I don't know how big them things gonna get. The further y'all go, they gonna bring your boat down, brush. Clamp.
It has been known to feast on crustaceans as well. Number 3, sea toads. The sea toad is a rather simple name for this ocean-dwelling oddity, but it does kind of describe what an amphibian might look like when subjected to the crushing depths of the deep sea. Think of the fish that is smashed from front to back and given tiny legs. That's the simplest description of what sea toads look like.
Dang.
In the words of Sir David Attenborough, it has been living so long in the depths that its fins have changed into something more useful, feet. Not the most beautiful thing in the sea, but it definitely gives a direct visual representation of—
That's crazy. Fam is walking around like a duck down there, bro. It's crazy.
what we humans would definitely find familiar, yet otherworldly.
That's what I'm saying. If you keep going down further, there's going to be something with legs, all right, and a torso. Man, listen.
Oh, and as with its close relative, the aforementioned anglerfish, the sea toad is also a fierce ambush predator. It lurks, always patiently waiting before its hapless victim finally ends up as sustenance. Number 2, Sophonophores. Deep-sea sophonophores are long lines of jellyfish-like entities connected together, only guided by the organism behind and in front. They could get really long, like just as long or even longer than a blue whale, making them some of the longest animals in the world. They stay alive by preying on smaller animals by using stinging cells. Though some types of sophonophores exhibit a simpler long and slender creature configuration, other types can have even wackier physical configurations. Most of them though, such as the classic Portuguese man-o-war, do not belong to the depths of the deep sea, therefore not part of our dark oddities. Number 1, Gulper Eels. If there is one thing in the deep that is the literal stuff of nightmares, it would definitely have to be the Gulper Eel. Its name alone conjures a disturbing image to those who hear it, and
there's a joke right there. I don't know if I'm gonna make it though. All right, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
complete dread to those who can witness its full existence. Its huge mouth, which is definitely its most defining trait, is capable of
I'm pretty sure you can describe your local throat goat with these same quotes.
full existence. Its huge mouth, which is definitely its most defining trait,
Oh my, yo, listen. All right, I wasn't gonna make the joke. I had to make the joke, bro. It was right there. It was right there.
is capable of extending and snapping like a snake. This allows it to munch and dine on stuff that a creature of its size would not normally be able to swallow. Combine this with its very slender body and whip-like tail, and its capability of easily bending into the depths of darkness, and this makes it even more terrifying than the already monstrous anglerfish. Strangely enough,
That's
cusk
crazy.
eels, despite being within the same category and habitat as the gulper eel, look vastly different and come in a variety of forms. They have all the normal features of regular fish, but wrapped within an almost extraterrestrial-looking transparent form. This is to be expected though, as at 8,200 meters deep, the cusk eel is officially one of the deepest ocean-dwelling creatures on record. To give you a
This
rough
is
idea of
crazy.
how tough as hunters these eel really are, both of them eat a staple diet of mostly hard crustaceans. They also inhabit a very large part of the world's oceans, as they can easily thrive anywhere, so long as the climate is relatively warm. If this
Fam ate a whole crustacean, all right? They don't even eat no fish. They say you ain't, if you don't got an outer hard shell, I ain't even gonna eat you. All right, this is further, listen, I'm never getting in the water again. Don't invite me to the beach. Don't invite me to a lake, all right, a pond. I don't care what it is. I'm not getting in, all right? Unless it's a bathtub, a jacuzzi. I'm good. I'm gonna let these creatures have their water. They earned it. But listen, if y'all enjoyed this, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And until next time, we out of here.